This is some hot news right here. So I'll explain the story. This guy is named Mahmoud Khalil. He's a graduate student in a U.S. university. He has a green card, and he's from Syria. His parents were Palestinian refugees, and he came to the U.S. He had a girlfriend here. They were in long distance relationship. They got married here. He's here for graduate school, I think in computer science. Not that it really matters that much, but war in Gaza starts, and this guy is obviously ties to Palestine, and he becomes part of the protest movement, which is going on in a lot of schools across the country, right? He's in these protests, and he's become somewhat of a recognizable figure. And then one day, out of the blue, federal agents show up at his house. Like, there's literal black vans rolling up, and they bang on the door, and he's like, "What's going on?" And they take him into an unmarked vehicle, a van, and they drive him away. And this is while his wife, who is pregnant, is in the house also wondering what the fuck is going on. They're throwing him in a van. And this isn't like the FBI or the police. This is immigration's ICE, you know. They take him to the ICE facility. They detain him. He has a green card, right? But they detain him. And by the way, I've heard these ICE facilities are just horrible. Like, they're literally freezing inside. They're like actually worse than being in a jail, like a county jail. They're freezing. You get thrown in a room and there's like, it's just like metal. I don't know. I can't speak to the actual living conditions that he's in, but that's what I've heard. And then if that's not bad enough, they put this guy on a plane and they send him to Louisiana, which I think he was arrested in like New York or something. And nobody can contact him. You know, nobody's telling him anything. He's got like a legal defense forming now, but I don't even think they can get a hold of him. Because when you're in like this, you're in this weird state where you're not arrested, but you're detained. You're like essentially in government purgatory, and they basically do whatever the hell they want. Especially given the fact that he's not a U.S. citizen, right? And this guy has not been charged with a crime. I don't think anything he did at the protests were necessarily illegal. No matter how you may view those protests, and you may be really against that point of view, which is fine, you're allowed to be against it. But Trump is out here calling the protests illegal. They're saying that they're anti-American and pro-terrorist, which also is not illegal. It is not illegal for somebody to say something anti-American or even pro-terrorist. That's part of what it means to be an American. That's part of our Constitution, is that we can say things like that. But according to Trump, that is now a valid reason to detain someone indefinitely. Now, like I said, this guy is not a U.S. citizen. He has a green card. And so I look into this, and apparently the federal government, or the executive branch, to be more specific, can revoke a green card at any time for any reason. They can just take it away, and then you become an illegal alien in the country, and they can detain you and deport you. And to do that for something so vague as anti-American or pro-terrorist, it's so vague on purpose because Trump is obviously taking this very personally. He can do this to anyone he wants that has a green card. Anybody that has a green card is not safe. Like, if you say something that Trump doesn't like, disagrees with, you get that Trump down vote, you're going to the ICE facility. Like, you're getting your citizenship, not your citizenship, you're getting your green card revoked, right? That's literally what this is. And Trump right now, they're cheering this shit on. They're like, this is great and more is coming. You know, they can just do this. Like I said, I've said this many times, but this is Trump's personal vengeance tour, and he's weaponized the federal government to, use it for Trump's purposes in ways that have no precedent, right? I'm sure a green card has been revoked before. I'm pretty sure it's hasn't been because somebody attended a protest, right? It's just weird how out in the open this stuff is now, because this stuff has probably happened before with previous administrations, or at least things kind of like it, but they've tried to keep it under wraps. But now it's like celebrated, right? I think the problem for us, if you're like an American citizen, obviously you don't have to worry about your citizenship getting revoked yet, but I think the problem for us is like, this is going to be how we get Osama bin Laden too, right? This is the kind of shit that causes like actual terrorism to happen, because, and I'm not saying that Mahmoud, I'm not saying that this guy is that guy, like he's literally a terrorist. That's obviously not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you've got this government that's doing this like completely blatant xenophobic stuff, targeting specific groups of people. Eventually this is going to happen to somebody who is crazy enough that, they're going to become the next Osama bin Laden. Obviously, I don't agree with what that individual would do. You know, nobody deserves to be part of a terrorist attack. But this is what we're creating is like a breeding ground for that, right? Somebody's going to be pissed enough that they're going to come back and they're going to do some shit. And, you know, that is going to affect all of us. Even if you aren't killed in a terrorist attack, they always use this shit to restrict us more. They lock shit down. They spy on us more. It's always used as justification. It's the same thing they did after 9/11. And it also was used to justify xenophobia. After 9/11, a lot of people were very anti-Islamic. You know, they're very anti-Muslim. People looked at them weird. Same thing happened after Pearl Harbor and the Japanese. We literally put Japanese people into internment camps. Stuff like that could definitely happen again. And it's almost so bad now that it's like, I kind of wonder if they're like hoping that happens, right? Like they want that justification to try to unify the American people for a xenophobic end. And that's my conspiracy theory of the week, is that a lot of this stuff is happening to try to like create the environment for terrorist attacks. But I think the only thing that is a certainty is, even if it isn't a giant conspiracy, I think one thing that we can be certain of, if that an attack does happen, they will use it to restrict us more, right? They're going to use it in the worst way possible for the American people. And the protest stuff, like they're really trying to crack down on these protests, which is kind of, you know, that's dictatorship behavior. But I don't even know what we can do at this point. I mean, obviously we can vote, hope for the best. I know people are, you know, so the real doomers are out there like, oh, the voting system is going to be completely destroyed in 2 and 4 years, you know, so we can't even do that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't know if it's going to get that bad. I mean, it could. Anything's possible, but I kind of doubt it. What I don't understand is who is working for ICE? Like, who is actually executing the executive branch's decisions at this point? You know, does anybody have like any introspection? I guess it's like just following orders or whatever. Or, you know, if somebody has the conscience just to refuse an order, at best they're gonna get thrown out and they're just gonna have somebody else's ass come in and do the job. But at worst, I mean, you could be painted as some sort of pariah. Like you become someone they'll throw the book at and make an example out of. Like you'll be in federal prison and paraded around. Were there leakers at ICE and they got fucked up? I didn't hear about that. But I don't know what we can do. I mean, you can try to protest. I don't think that's a bad idea, especially if you're an American citizen, because at least you know you're most likely not going to end up in an ICE detention facility. But at this point, that could definitely happen too. American citizens have definitely been in them before. I don't know if there was like some sort of mass protest against this, but you know they would use it. I think the only thing that could happen that would really cause a stir was if there was a mass protest and the government cracked down on it so hard there was some sort of like massacre or something, like they really fucked up, then I think that could delegitimize the government and unify the American public against them to some extent. But these days, man, I don't even know. Like it's crazy. I do remember when the George Floyd situation first happened and that was on the news. I remember I was watching more conservative news outlets, and they actually sided with George Floyd at the start. Like the first reaction was that what the police officer was doing was wrong, right? And as time has gone on, things have changed a lot, and you know, it's become very two-sided. But at the start, people were very unified. So like if there was some sort of major event, I think that could unify a large part of the country. But as of right now, a lot of people, they don't really care, you know? I think we're so far down the rabbit hole at this point, only something that crazy, that remarkable could actually wake the majority of people up to this. Did somebody call in a few days before 9/11 saying that there were plans to attack? What, like a fucking time traveler or some shit? Was there not a movie about this? Wait. There totally was. Was it not, it had, I swear it was Shia LaBeouf. What the fuck was the movie where Shia LaBeouf stops a terrorist attack? Oh my god, there is no results on Google. What the hell? Oh no, here it is. Eagle Eye, that's it. He stops, so he like knows that the attack is gonna happen, and he's like trying to stop it. And he can't like tell people that it's gonna happen. He has to go into the Senate and just start shooting into the air to get everybody to leave, right? But yeah, a time traveler. Someone who knew what was gonna happen. Yeah, you couldn't, but think about it. You could not tell people a terrorist attack was about to happen. They wouldn't take you seriously if you tried to tell somebody 9/11 was about to happen. Or maybe they also know and they're like, yeah, keep your mouth shut because this is gonna help us gain a ton of power. If you knew 9/11 was gonna happen and you wanted to stop it from happening, the only thing you could do would be to like go the morning of and do like a pseudo terrorist attack in 9/11 or in the Twin Towers and get everybody to leave to save them from getting hit by the airplanes. You couldn't just like tell people.
Hit that follow button, bitch.